Hey everyone, give me a couple seconds here to share this live stream link. I don't think there's any way to do it before I open the live stream. I hope you're all doing well. And I'm just going to share it in Discord now. Hey everyone, I'm doing well. The top G. Just looking at a couple things here and we'll get started. All right, so let's just do a quick recap of where we're at here on the charts. This morning, I'll actually just pop over to Discord for a second. Really nice to see this new member, brand new trader, made $200 on their first derivatives trade, and emphasis on using proper risk management. Saying a big thank you, and they're learning a lot. That's awesome. But this morning, I guess we'll go to Bitcoin updates. I was looking for a couple things. I was looking for this push up. I did a video and I shared it on Twitter. But the important thing was to, I was looking for a push up through the highs for a short. And last night I was sharing that in yesterday's daily close, we had this bullish absorption forming. And then I did an update this morning just saying that I'm essentially looking for a push up through the highs for a short setup. I won't play that video because I shared it publicly. So I said I took my short because I had the trigger, which is the sweep of the highs, the rejection, always using risk management. Obviously, we got a big rejection from there. But what I want to point out, because I'm going to be going over this in a second, is I'm keeping an eye on order flow, and I'm aware that we have bullish absorption forming. I did a quick video just saying my thoughts as all these shorts are opening, saying, hey, looking for signs of strength, because the potential for a short squeeze is certainly there, and I'll go into that more in a second when we go over to the order flow charts. And I just showed, there's no guarantees to what will happen, but bullish absorption getting very dramatic as shorts pile in down here. Here's the 1 hour chart. So I was just sharing that on that move down. And then I was looking for long setups, but I didn't really see anything too clear on ETH or on Bitcoin, but I saw this nice swing failure set up on ETH. So I said I'm taking ETH long here as a hedge to my Bitcoin short. And we'll take a look at the charts here really quick. So got a great short on Bitcoin this morning into the New York Open. Was waiting for that sweep of the highs, noting the bullish absorption here. And then a nice long setup on ETH. And to me, this ETH setup was much more clear. The setup, the structure was much more clear than looking for a long here on Bitcoin. Had Bitcoin swept the range lows, that would have been a clearer setup to me, because we had bullish absorption forming for quite a while on the way down. And so it's kind of hard to say, hey, where's the potential low coming in here? Whereas ETH, the setup was very clean, invalidation was very clear. So let's take a look at order flow really quick. Wherever that is, here it is. So this is the 15-minute chart on Bitcoin. So what I want to point out is we made our highs, and as price started coming down here, we see tons of shorts piling in, tons of volume, huge negative delta. So in these 15-minute candles, 132 million volume on the Bybit BTC USD perp pair, with a negative delta of 22 million, here a negative delta of 11 million, here a negative delta of 17 million. So we see, people are typically getting stopped out of their shorts at the highs. And this isn't as simple as this, but this is a good idea to think about. When you have a range, you don't want to be shorting the lows of the range. You want to be shorting the highs of the range. When all the other shorts are getting stopped out, that's where you want to be opening your shorts. When all the other longs are opening, that's where you want to be looking for longs, because everyone's getting wrecked both ways, right? And you'll see that over and over and over again. All the shorts get stopped out, they open at the lows, and that's why we were seeing this low time frame bullish absorption that I had been pointing out before this move up, that were creating bullish divergences between these lows, before this move up, between these lower time frame lows. And then we see now huge bullish divergences forming against these lows way down here. And that's where CBD tells you that there's aggressive selling coming into the market, tons of market orders. And when you look at open interest and net longs and net shorts, you can tell how much of it is longs being stopped out and how much of it is shorts opening. When you have a ton of shorts opening and a bullish divergence between price, so price is making a higher low, CVD or cumulative volume delta is making a much deeper low, that tells you there are big traders coming in here, holding up price, potentially looking to squeeze out those shorts. And so when I'm in a short from the highs, I'm definitely looking at this bullish divergence, and I'm also looking for an opportunity to counter trade that move down. So I have my shorts from the highs. Is there an opportunity to find a long with a clean technical setup? And like I said, I didn't find that setup as clean on Bitcoin, but I found it very cleanly on ETH. And obviously we know ETH and Bitcoin tend to move together. So what am I looking for now? Well, one, I don't want to get caught into a trap where I'm over trading. I have opportunities. I've had opportunities to short the highs, long the lows, take some profits. And I will note that there's still quite a few shorts that could be squeezed out here. We've kind of reclaimed the point of control, which has shifted a little bit. And so I would wait, personally, for probably another sweep of the highs for another short setup, or a sweep of the lows for a long setup. But I'd be less interested in longing a sweep of the lows after we've taken the highs, because we've at that point tapped a major fib level, and I have some Elliott wave ideas that aren't on my chart, but kind of putting in like a wave 3 A, B, C correction down into this $19,200 range. So, you know, it's important not to get too over eager and euphoric when you have some nice trades. You know, you can't really ask for a better day, having taken a short up here and a long down here. I don't really want to be trading the middle of the local range. And so you just mark out levels, wait for those nice setups. And the thing is, I had shorted this high yesterday, and that was a same setup right at the New York Open, same time of the day, the 6:15 candle on my chart, 6:15 a.m. here. And that was another setup I was looking for, but I took profits here because there was bullish absorption. And I pointed that out. I said, hey, we have bullish absorption. I'm going to take profits on this short because it's looking more likely that we're going to take the highs again. And even though I would have liked to just say, you know, you always want to have a big move on your positions, but you have to be objective and patient and say, hey, well, you know what? We're showing bullish absorption here. Probably going to get another retest of the highs. I should take some profits. You have to be quite attentive if you want to find these setups, obviously. So someone's asking in chat, don't I get nervous when I trade against the S&P 500 directions? No. And the reason I don't get nervous is because I'm using risk management. I have my trades planned out. I know what I'm looking for. I take them, and if I get stopped out, then that's fine. I actually thought I was going to get stopped out here. you know, I had this nice tight invalidation trade. I even said, when I took the trade, I said I took my short. I wouldn't be surprised if we get another push up and I get stopped out, but I have my entry trigger, so I need to take the trade. No sense in guessing. And if we take a look at the S&P, I've been well aware. I pointed this out a couple days ago, I think, that we are actually at the golden pocket resistance from this pivot high on the 4-hour chart. So I was aware that we're consolidating at resistance on the S&P. And so when I took the short, I was certainly happy to do that because I know the S&P is at resistance too. Now we're coming back down, testing the point of control. So I'm keeping an eye on it. It's not that I don't think about it at all, but you know, you can use it for some confluence. Is the ES at resistance? Definitely some confluence there. Yeah, I'll talk about ETH. Someone said, it's possible to go higher, question mark. Lazar is asking that. Absolutely. Anything is possible. That's one thing that, you know, when you're looking to trade technically, you're just looking for high probability, good risk reward setups, like shorts from the highs, longs from the lows, understanding that anything can happen. Even with these strong bullish divergences between CVD and price, and you know, with this long setup, I easily could have just gotten stopped out of this trade. And that's why I'm just using risk management. If I get stopped out, maybe I reopen if we reclaim the low. But I actually think there's an argument to be made that higher is somewhat likely with this big reaction off of these bullish divergences. And we still have quite a few shorts to squeeze out. I'd say, I mean, we've really only squeezed out a small fraction of them. So I would be leaning towards taking the range highs. I really do want to tap this this fib extension here because I have this this Elliott wave count idea. I'd shared this, I don't remember when, maybe down here a little bit. But I have this corrective wave idea for 3A, B, C. Be quite nice to tap this 123.7 extension. That's a lucky number, 21777. Then come down into this 1618 region of the chart to the major point of control. So I'm kind of thinking about this. So I wouldn't mind doing something like this, frankly. Whether we get it or not, I still have some shorts running. We'll see. And then targeting higher for a wave 5 after that. Of course, that can become invalidated. As far as ETH goes, we have a major fib above us. I pointed out in the Discord recently that we have a couple important levels here. So we have our golden pocket from this high. These key fib retracements, when used properly, they're just great, especially when you put them in the context of something like an Elliott wave count. They're just great to be aware of. But we have the 786, which ETH loves, above this high. So that's the liquidity idea. Taking these highs is a liquidity idea, but ETH has not taken this major high yet. So sweeping this high into the golden pocket would be a potential place for a rejection and a short maybe with tight invalidation. Maybe some of this long can run up into there. Sweeping this high into the 786 is also a really nice idea. So those are two higher time frame ideas I'm interested in. I guess, you know, I'm anticipating something like a pullback at some point into this $19,200 region. And I'm remaining midterm bullish until we start breaking down some support. But whether or not I'm midterm bullish, I'm still looking for these short setups. I'm still looking for these longs. It doesn't really change the fact that I'm willing to take shorts at resistance and longs at support, even if I have some bullish ideas. It might just kind of inform how I hold my swing trades. And I know, Lazar, when you're asking, can Solana retrace to this, Solana retrace to the POC in 12? I'm actually not sure what that question means. I just want to clarify, when you say can it, I want to say anything can happen. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, order flow definitely puts a lot of the probabilities in your favor, but anything can happen. But you know, I'm happy to see over in the Discord, you know, that a new trader making some money on their first trade, that's always good. Although you have to be careful. If your first few trades go really well, you might have the idea of trading with risk management, but suddenly you start thinking, man, I can't lose. I know what's going to happen. I've won 3, 4, 5 trades in a row. So you always want to be cautious not to get euphoric. As the great Mark Douglas says, when you become euphoric, you don't have the ability to perceive risk anymore. You start making decisions without even thinking about what the repercussions are, trading too big, not using invalidation. This is me just pointing out that swing failure. But then someone else, another member, Keeson, said he made half of his salary today. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So anyways, it's cool to be in a community where, you know, people are learning, finding nice setups. And yeah, I'm just scrolling through here for a second. We have a very active community at the LATF. If you want to learn more about technical trading and some of these concepts, the way that I kind of proceed with like updates and things is I make it clear that it's not a signals group. I have actually, maybe I'll just pop over there really quick. There's educational content on a bunch of different topics. And what I do with my updates and what my goal is to give live examples of all these concepts. So I'll talk about the setups I'm interested in. I'll talk about where I take my entries and when I take them. But I'll do sometimes 10 updates a day going through, hey, this is why I'm waiting for higher. I'm watching order flow. This is, you know, why I might be taking the trade earlier because we're showing bearish divergences. And I'm just trying to give live examples of the things that you find in the educational content, because I think it's powerful to have continuous examples of that stuff on a live chart. It's, you know, reviewing historical price action is really important, but you don't get the emotions that come along with, you know, for example, this long setup on ETH. In hindsight, you'd be maybe looking at doing some back testing, and you say, oh yeah, this would be such an easy long to take. You know, you sweep the lows, tight invalidation. But in the moment, when you're looking at the 1 minute candles and you see this happening, it can be very hard to take the position, right? It looks easy in hindsight, but so that's why I think it's important for me to give those live updates and say, hey, I'm taking a long here based on this setup, this invalidation. Using these concepts that are taught in the educational materials. So I want to make that clear. It's not a signals group, but I do share the setups I'm interested in and how I plan to trade them. And I usually do a little setup before, a brief 1-2 minute video talking about what I'm looking for, maybe a couple hours before I think the setup might come into play. I say when I execute it, and then I usually do a little bit of post analysis. But yeah, I did share this idea on Twitter as well before the New York Open around 5 a.m. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I'm not sure what that is, Jeffin. Just going to take another quick look at order flow. Yeah, I mean, I will say I do think the probabilities lean towards a continuation of a short squeeze here. pretty much all of the shorts that got squeezed out have just reopened. But it wouldn't be uncommon in this type of situation to range a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if I'm not taking another trade until tomorrow. Okay, somebody's asking, how many hours a day do I spend in crypto? Well, first I'll clarify, I don't really look at it as spending my time in crypto. I'm spending my time doing technical analysis. This could be done on any asset, stocks, commodities, Forex. But as far as how much time do I spend charting and doing analysis and spending time in the LATF, I mean, it's pretty much, it's pretty much my whole life. I mean, I would say 12, 15 hours a day. Which is maybe a little sad. But I do love it. Someone said, is it a rising wedge? Now we retest. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of using those kind of traditional patterns. I like using some different technical ideas. Someone says, which software do you use to read order flow? There's a few softwares that do the same thing. I was showing their exo charts. You can get some of that clean CVD data from coinanalyze.net, I think it is. I think it's Coinanalyze, not Coinanalyze. But that's free. And then there's something called gocharting.com, which is free as well. So there's a few different places you can get it for free. ExoCharts does cost money. Santiago saying, an entry long in 514, what do you think? Or 1514, I presume you mean ETH. I don't know if you mean you have an entry from there or you want to enter there. If you have an entry from there, great. You probably have opportunities to lock in some profits at some point. Maybe put your stop to entry. Getting a little test of the VWAP here. As far as, whether or not that'd be a good entry, if you're not in a position, could be the 786 probably. But I mean, for me, sometimes it's a little bit hard to say. Like, for example, I'd be interested in a short up here on Bitcoin. But if we were down here and someone said, is it a good short to take here? I'd say, yes, I'm very interested in it, but I'm going to wait for a reaction. I'm going to see what order flow is doing. So, we'll see when we have more data available if the setup's clean or not. Thank you, the Notorious Dan. He says, we appreciate the work you put in, Lucky. You're helping a lot of people. Okay, here's a good question. Someone says, why does price tend to move towards liquidity? So this is a really important concept, but it's important to understand that you can't we don't really realize this. The average trader won't realize this because of the size they're trading, but you can't just open a position anywhere. In order for me to sell short, I'm not selling short into thin air. I need somebody to take the other side of that trade, right? So for me to open a very big short position, let's say I wanted to open a $20 million short position, I can't just open that anywhere. I need liquidity. And so I have an incentive to drive price towards liquidity, to push price up where there's a lot of liquidity so I can fill my short positions. And if I want long positions, I have an incentive to push price down, unload my short positions. I also need liquidity to unload my shorts and build long positions. And because of the psychology of the market and the average trader, the most buying liquidity comes in up at the top, and the most selling liquidity comes in at the bottom. And so even though people say buy low, sell high, what people tend to do is sell low, buy high. So most people are getting stopped out of their shorts here, which is producing liquidity, because to stop out yourself out of a short, you have to cover with a long. So you have to put buy side liquidity into the market. Or people are trying to long the breakouts. So if you look at order flow, you'll see longs piling in here, aggressive market order longs. And what big traders are doing is sitting here with limit orders, limit sell orders, limit shorts. And they're absorbing all of that buying pressure. They're absorbing all those shorts being stopped out to fill their shorts and then drive price down. The market has to seek liquidity, or no one can fill positions. There was obviously a lot of liquidity generated on this move. We see some very big volume candles coming in here. 132 million, 66 million, 119 million on the 15, 78 million. We had big candles on this push up here, 233 million. And let's contrast that to the candles we were getting down in this range, where there was, like, we can look at essentially, how much time is this? These 15-minute candles are like 1 million, 200,000, 744,000. We have some bigger candles here, 20 million. But you can see we went for quite a while with almost no liquidity. And now we have all these multi-$100 million candles coming in. And I actually pointed out here, I noticed the strange block of big volume candles relative to what we had been getting. All pretty symmetrical. It's quite strange volume here. All around 20 million, 25 million. But anyways, you'll notice the liquidity comes in at the highs and the lows. That's where you get your big spikes in volume. Big traders are building long positions and likely taking profits offloading, but they need that liquidity. And yeah, so anyways, that's why price drives around to liquidity. Because if you're a big trader, you know, we know tons of shorts got wrecked here, right? Well, if you have longs here, you have an incentive to drive price up, to keep pushing price into that liquidity. And as those shorts start getting stopped out, it drives price up. This whole move up was majority shorts getting wrecked. And then you have an opportunity to offload your longs that you've built down here. Okay, so Peter's saying, hey man, love your content. Can you show us what indicators you use most of the time? Thank you. I don't really use indicators. Pretty much everything I'm using is technical levels that I'm pulling with fibs, with channels, things like this. I'm watching order flow. I use Elliott wave concepts. So it's all kind of manual charting. And I teach all of that stuff in the LATF if you're interested in learning about it. Just sorry, scanning through some questions. You know, as far as questions about like, what about price going here or here or here? Anything can happen. I have ideas, but I'm keeping an eye on order flow. I'm seeing what kind of reactions we get. If certain ideas get invalidated, I'll look to other ideas. So, I mean, we have liquidity up here. That's clear. We have liquidity down here. Both of those are relatively obvious. I'd be very interested in longs down here. More swing positions. Be interested in shorts again up here. And then whatever happens from there, we'll see. But I'm really just waiting for key levels. I'm not trying to guess too much what I think is going to happen. Someone's asking, do you use fair value gaps and order blocks? Not really, but there's a lot of overlapping concepts in those ideas with other things I use. But there are traders in the Lucky Apes trading floor group that do use those ideas. Exo Trader is saying that would probably give us an ABC correction into a 4 for last 5 up. Yeah, that's the idea. Calvizi is asking, what do you think about whales propping price up with futures to offload spot? Yeah, I mean, those games are always being played. For me, you know, trying to speculate too much, I don't think there's really a need to do it. You know, I think when you have some order flow tools, you get a pretty good idea of what the big traders are doing, especially locally. And usually, if you can get a good read on what's happening locally in a range like this, you can get a pretty good idea of, you know, the probabilities of price moving one direction over the other. Someone's asking, can you show the best setup for exo charts or what you use? I have some templates that I've built. I've shared those in the Discord. There's export codes that you can share. But yeah, so I have some for market profiles and the bid-ask profiles. Someone says they don't hear me. I think my volume should be good. I won't go too deep into this, but as far as the Elliott wave count, someone's asking, does it need to go into the red wave or the red line to be considered a wave 3? No, the idea here is that the wave 3 is already done, and the move up through the highs is actually an expanded flat. So that's part of the corrective wave. So you can have it so your B wave actually comes in higher than your 3 wave. And I just like the idea because it allows us to grab this liquidity. And then it gives us our 1618 extension from the A to B down towards this major PLC. There's a major 382 here, which is indicative of a stronger trend. I'd done a bit of a video on this count in the Discord, but so anyways, this is the idea of this count: 1, 2, leading diagonal in wave 1, 2, and we had a deep correction in our wave 2. So the idea would be to come down and have a shallower 382 correction in our wave 4 with a sharper correction. So usually if you have like an extended correction in time in a wave 2, you might be looking for more sharp, quicker correction in a wave 4, or vice versa. And if you had a deeper correction in wave 2, you're looking for a shallower correction in wave 4, typically. It's not a hard rule, but it's a good general idea. Do I trade alts and lower caps? If so, what do you look at before trading alts? I do. I've steered away from it a little bit with the Discord because, you know, if you're sharing, that you're taking a position or an idea, and it's just inevitable that some of those people will trade those setups if they like them. And so with low caps, it can get kind of dangerous. You can produce enough liquidity to actually become a target for price with your stops, where that's not really going to happen on something like Bitcoin or ETH. Notorious Dan saying, do you think we have a high probability of seeing new lows in your high time frame analysis after a run up? You know, probably with my, let me just look at this here or show this for a second. With my higher time frame analysis, I would say no. But there are scenarios, obviously, where we can see new lows. But there are some ideas here. I mean, there's some very bullish ideas, but those can become invalidated. If we go to log here, our lows came in right around the, actually, let me put on the 0 and the 1 here. Right around this 50% fib. You know, there's probably some ideas where we've put in our, you know, something like this, wave 1, ABC correction. And this could be a wave 2. And now we start putting in our sub counts. So anyways, there's some ideas where this is like a major low. But I'd say with this move, you know, holding 19,200 is an important level. And if we're holding that, I'm not really going to spend too much time thinking about new lows. But if we can break down and re-enter this range, well, then the ideas of new lows become much more likely. Victor's asking, how is the paper trading project going? Thank you for everything, Lucky. You're welcome, and it's going well. We're still beta testing, you know, just adding features, and it's going to be cool. So for anyone that doesn't know, we're building a paper trading platform that's going to have some type of token allocation based, and you can essentially trade against other traders with fake money, build trading systems. There's going to be kind of a robust journaling system in there and system building tools. And yeah, and kind of have like competitive seasons for paper trading. White Cloud saying, why do you never share losses? It would be interesting as well. Well, I would say I do share losses. I mean, because I share my trades, right? So I don't share everything I share on Twitter, on Discord, but if I share setup on Discord and I get stopped out, well, I get stopped out. Like, for example, I took this short on the point of control here, and I got stopped out of that short. And obviously, I took a loss there, right? And I talk about taking that loss. If I share a setup idea that I'm interested in on Twitter, and I get stopped out, which certainly happens, then I've taken a loss. Because I'm typically sharing my invalidation. I've been trading this range quite well. I took some scalps off bullish divergences. This range has been very technical. We had this golden pocket retracement with bullish absorption, which was a nice setup. At the time, we bounced perfectly off this point of control. That was a nice setup. These swing failure shorts, nice setups. Kaisen's asking, what have TradingView said to you? Yeah, it's kind of funny. TradingView, like the Twitter account, followed me. And then they just messaged me. It was very kind of them. They just said hello. They DM'd me. They said hey, and I said hello. And then they said, Just wanted to let you know we've watched some of your videos. Awesome work. And I said, thank you. That was kind of you to message me that message. It's kind of funny though, you know. Maybe the account manager of TradingView is a member of the Discord or something. Someone said, could you please show me where you would put a stop loss? Learning so much from you always. Thank you. Well, it depends on the setup, but you know, for a swing failure, which is one of my favorite setups because it gives the cleanest invalidation, you wait for the level to be taken and you have a rejection, and I just put my stop loss above the level. In this case, it was very tight. I expected to get stopped out and have to re-enter, and it was the same setup long on ETH, which is why I took that long. Waiting for the low to be swept, the range low, reclaimed, entry with a stop loss below the wick. So that's a specific setup with a specific type of stop loss, but it can be different depending on the setup you're trading. Like if you're trading an ascending channel, let's say, it's usually a good idea to put your stop loss below the previous low. So let's just say, I mean this, you know, whatever. Let's just do this as an example. This isn't even an ascending channel. But if you were trading this long and this was an ascending channel, you'd put your stop under the previous low. I guess there's a really obvious example of this. If we go back to here on the chart, where ETH spent a long time in an ascending price structure. So the idea would be if you're longing this ascending channel, you'd put your stop under the previous low. This can be drawn a few different ways. This is a pretty crude way to draw it, but Anime's Treasure saying, to trade a swing failure, you need to be fast, so you're always in front of your computer, question mark. Well, I usually have alerts set pre-running the level, but I am often at my computer or available. Sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I'm asleep and I'm so tired I don't wake up to my alerts. But the other thing is there's key times within the day to trade. So like these highs both came in at the exact same time of the day, that kind of first 15 minutes during the New York Open. So I give my update here and I'm saying, hey, I'm looking for this move up in the New York Open. And so I'm prepared to trade that time of the day. I'm looking for this move up into the New York Open. I'm prepared to trade that time of the day because I know there's certain times of the day where key pivots are more likely to be put in. One of those is the New York Open. One of those is the daily close. Like here. So as we come into the daily close here, I even said, you know, bullish absorption into the daily close, point of control into the daily close. Of course, you can put in pivots at other times too. Jocks is saying, where do you get this volume profile from? It's a tool in TradingView. I think it's only available, it's here, fixed range volume profile. I think it's only available in the paid version of TradingView, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so just to kind of recap, right now I'm leaning towards higher. We'll see, you know, when these shorts get squeezed out. But am I expecting this? You know, I'd like to take the highs, but if all the shorts get squeezed out and we have bearish absorption here, I might consider shorting it sooner. But yeah, I don't really suspect to take a trade at this before the daily close, for sure, that'd be atypical to just reverse this move that quickly. But it might be towards tomorrow's New York Open. Someone's asking if I can look at the S&P. We've kind of wicked through this descending structure a few times. Very clean interaction with some of these golden pockets. Certainly a major level up here, a major idea of coming up and double topping here. Maybe into new lows. But we're at resistance now, testing a major point of control. Something like this would be quite interesting. I want to answer this question intentionally. Someone says, do you think we can still get back to 21,700 liquidity, and when will this be invalidated? So I want to be clear, you can't invalidate price going somewhere. You know, I'll get asked that a lot. So I'll have a level of interest, maybe like this, getting up to this $21,700 level. And somebody will say, well, when is it invalidated, that level? And you can't really invalidate the level before you tap it. You either tap it or you don't. And so it's more a matter of saying, if we get it, that's a level I want to trade. There's maybe some other levels I'd like to trade with certain conditions. And those being, for me, order flow conditions. But you can't really invalidate that this level could be hit. You know, price could come down, go up, come down, sweep this low, and then push up into that liquidity. It's just more about marking out levels, knowing the levels you want to trade, and just waiting patiently. Anime saying, do you use Bitcoin as Confluence to trade alts? Yes, I do. I'll be honest though, I am hella tired. I haven't been sleeping very much or very well, which isn't good. But I've really been up since about 2 in the morning. But yeah. So anyways, all that said, I may wrap up this stream. I think I've kind of covered everything that I kind of have to say in terms of Bitcoin and ETH. Waiting for higher. But what I'll be looking at is order flow. And if all those shorts get squeezed out and we start seeing bearish absorption here, I'd certainly be willing to consider shorting sooner than a swoop of these highs. Anime says, you've never been on holiday, Lucky. Well, I think my problem is I took a time off over the holidays, over Christmas and New Year's, and now my body's having trouble adjusting to my rigorous schedule. The problem is I took a holiday. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully this was helpful, useful. For me, I'm just being patient. I'm not going to trade the middle of this range. I've already traded the highs and the lows. No need to come late to a position here. But yeah, I would say if you're interested in learning about technical analysis and technical trading and you want to join a great community, come check out the LATF.